Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Todd Chrisley gets heartbreaking letters from Julie Chrisley. Both Todd Chrisley and his wife, Julie Chrisley, are in prison. They are both serving time for crimes they were convicted of in different prisons. Being apart is not easy for this couple. They are not allowed to see each other. They are not even able to talk to each other on the phone. Despite this, the two can still write each other letters. Julie Chrisley's prison letters to her husband are heartbreaking. Savannah Chrisley shares Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley's letters. Savannah Chrisley is Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley's middle daughter. She has an older brother and an older sister, as well as two younger brothers and one younger sister. She currently hosts her own podcast. It was during one of her recent Unlocked podcasts, Savannah Chrisley shared the letters her mother had written to her husband. The letters the former star of Chrisley Knows Best shared showed her mother's loneliness and her heartbreak. The letters to Todd Chrisley. I knew my life was about to change forever. My husband and I stood in our bedroom right in front of our prayer bench and said our goodbyes. Julie Chrisley wrote shortly after being moved to the prison in Kentucky. We hugged, we kissed, and we prayed before he walked out the door heading to Pensacola, Florida with Savannah, Grayson, and Nick Curdles. Savannah Chrisley became emotional when she read the next part of her mother's letter. What a sobering thought! The man I had lived with, raised a family with, and loved more than life itself is now temporarily residing in Florida. And me in Kentucky, Chrisley wrote to her husband. I miss Todd so much that it hurts. I've never gone this long without talking to him. Julie Chrisley wrote in another letter. Savannah Chrisley feels her mother's pain. As heartbreaking as the letters to Todd Chrisley were, the pain of the daughter reading them could also be felt. No one can deny it must be hard for such a young woman to be away from her parents. Add to that the pain she feels for Todd Chrisley and her mother. At times, it must feel unbearable. I can just feel her hurt through these messages, and to just think about how different life is now. Almost a year and a half later, Savannah Chrisley explained. And to just think that sure, there's some funny things in here. Mom's trying to make jokes, trying to make light of it. But this is her life now. And it's so different than obviously what it was before. In just the emotional aspect of it of having to miss your family so much. Sadly, it may be quite a while before the stars of Chrisley Knows Best can be together again. An oral appeal on their case will be heard in April of this year. Then, the legal process of the appeals will start. Both Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley, as well as the rest of their family, will have to see how the appeal process will work. Every day behind bars at Federal Prison Camp Pensacola is a test of faith, strength, and patience. But nothing brings both comfort and pain quite like the letters he receives from his wife Julie, carefully written in her neat, graceful handwriting and always scented faintly with lavender. Each letter is a window into Julie's heart, a heart that is both breaking and enduring. Their once glamorous lives filled with lavish homes, reality TV cameras, and witty family banter have been reduced to pages of paper smuggled between steel gates and time. It was never supposed to be like this. In Todd's mind, they were supposed to grow old together at their Nashville mansion, sipping coffee on the porch while watching their grandchildren run wild through the yard. Instead, they're separated by barbed wire, concrete walls, and over 500 miles of emotional distance. The first letter came just days after Julie was processed into Federal Medical Center Lexington. Todd had stared at the envelope for almost an hour before opening it, pressing it to his lips as if that would bring her closer. Her words were raw and trembling. Todd, the silence here is different than at home. It's not peaceful. It's hollow. I still wake up expecting to hear the dogs barking or Chase yelling over some lost charger. I miss the chaos of our life, even the messy parts, especially the messy parts. Julie didn't sugarcoat her situation, and that made the letters all the more powerful. She spoke about her struggles adapting to the harsh routine of prison life, about missing their daughter Savannah's voice, and about the tear-streaked nights she spent praying for a second chance. In one letter, she confided, "Do you remember the garden I always said I'd plant once filming slowed down? I think about that every day. I dream of tomatoes and basil, my hands dirty with soil. You teasing me for wearing white while gardening. I should have done it. We always thought we had time." Todd read that line over and over. He, too, had lived for tomorrow. For the next big episode, the next business deal, the next season of Chrisley Knows Best. Now, time was the enemy, stretching on endlessly and reminding him of everything they never got around to. Julie's letters weren't always sad, though. Sometimes she filled them with little anecdotes about a fellow inmate teaching her how to knit, or the surprise visit from a therapy dog that made her cry in the best way. She even managed to poke fun at herself. "You should see my prison ID photo. I look like I'm auditioning for a sad spin-off of Orange is the New Black. But I'll make it work, Chrisley style." That humor, even in the darkest moments, was what Todd clung to. It reminded him of who they were, of who Julie still is. But then came the letter that changed everything. It arrived 2 months after Todd's birthday. The envelope was smudged at the edges, as if Julie had gripped it tightly before mailing it. Inside, the words were different, quieter, almost whispering from the page. "Todd, I need to be honest. There are nights I feel so heavy I can't breathe. I don't cry in front of anyone here, but the moment the lights go out, the tears come. I feel guilty for being weak, but this place takes pieces of you. Every day. I try to stay strong for you, for the kids, but sometimes I wonder if we'll ever be whole again." Todd had to sit down after reading that. For the first time since his sentencing, he broke. The tears came fast, pooling in his hands as the weight of Julie's words cracked through his bravado. He had always been the protector, the voice of reason, the family's North Star. But now, even he couldn't stop the sky from falling. He wrote back immediately, his own letter trembling with emotion. "Julie, don't you ever apologize for feeling broken. I feel it too. Every day without you is a day without air. But we are not defeated. You and I, we've built something stronger than this storm. We will come out on the other side, scarred maybe, but still standing." And that's how their letters evolved into lifelines. Todd began keeping every one of Julie's letters in a small box next to his bunk. He read them at night, tracing her handwriting with his fingers, almost hearing her voice in the silence. Other inmates started to notice. One even joked, "Man, your wife writes like she's from a Nicholas Sparks movie." Todd chuckled, replying, "That's because she's the love story of my life." As the months rolled by, their letters began to reflect hope again. Julie shared news about Savannah taking on more family responsibilities, Grayson's latest baseball stats, Nanny Faye's refusal to stop wearing leopard print to church, and Todd would tell her about the books he was reading, the scriptures he was clinging to, and the way the Florida breeze smelled just slightly like home on some days. Still, the pain lingered. In her most recent letter, Julie wrote,